Hello and welcome to a caster game. We've got Urk in the red, playing the Malians to the, what's that, southeast-ish. And opposite side of the map, we've got Overdose on the Ayyubids. So the Ayyubids have had a bit of a change recently. They had their fast castle nerfed somewhat. So they now no longer have quite as fast age up or quite as cheap. So it'd be interesting to see how that impacts them and whether people are deciding to use a different tech up. For reference, it was the Culture Wing Advancement. So this now, you use it to age up in 20% less time and 250 less cost. I believe it was maybe 30% less time and 400 less cost. Possibly even more. It was very strong and pretty much what everybody was choosing to run with because it was so strong. So yes, interesting to see what will happen this game with from Overdose. 3 on gold, a few on food. Let's keep this on number of villagers to begin with. Very standard so far, so we'll see what he does. And again, from the Malians. Now, I don't play a lot of Malians, so I'm not super familiar with specific build orders, but I'd say this looks about right from my experience playing against them. Room for a few more houses, but he doesn't have the wood for now. And these just generate the passive income on the pit mine, as you can see here, 87 per min. Pretty strong. Pretty damn strong. A few sheep for our Malian player. He has 5. I think Overdose had quite a few more than that. We've got 11 out front of his. So winning on the food front is our Ayyubid player. And we'll be taking up very shortly into Feudal Age. And it will be the reinforcement wing, which produces a desert raider every 2 minutes. So that'll just help to put a little bit of pressure on Urk. Perhaps the raider will come down, start attacking the pit mines and houses around it. And it'll just force Urk to respond, really. Some archers, probably best against the desert raiders. They don't have very much ranged armor, if I remember correctly. Managed to pick himself up a few more sheep, so he won't be too low. I think he's killed them all on the corner of his town center. Scout getting a little bit close here. Could lose this if Urk pays attention. Puts a few villagers in. But if he'd have dropped these in as well, might have had the damage to take out Overdose's scout there, which would have been pretty good. He would have got 2 sheep for himself, but he didn't. He didn't. So yes, the map, which I hadn't mentioned before, is Golden Pit. Is that what it's called? Golden Pit. That's what it's called. Plenty of gold in the middle. We've got 5 8k veins in the middle and a couple of relics. Other relics are fairly evenly spread. This one to the south, a lot closer to Urk on the Malians. But I don't think Malians tend to prioritize the relics. They have very good gold income regardless. Usually going for the cow boom, which we'll see. He's not prepping for it yet, but he is only just hitting Feudal now. So perhaps he'll start prepping for it once he's got a few more vills on wood and things like that. Did just go for the Mansa Quarry. Has it set to gold. 75 gold per minute from the Mansa Quarry. 96 per minute from the pit mine. So substantial passive gold income, 109 per minute with no villagers on it. The Ayyubid looking like he's going for a second TC. Almost has enough gold for it. Stone for it. We'll see where he puts that down. There'll be a good spot over here. You got the berries, you got the deer. kind of close to some trees. You could put it around here. Maybe shove these deer towards the TC. Yeah, so we'll see where he decides to go. Moving his 8 stone workers over onto the wood. Interesting swapping positions. Oh, we were almost right. He put it a little to the left in the middle of the deer pack, which is, I think, pretty standard. Let's see what he sees. He has scouted the base. We've got walls coming in. Scout going through the base again. Getting full information. He needs to be careful not to lose the scout, which I think he is going to. He does lose his scout. But he did get a lot of information that the Malian is not really doing much. Putting some walls down to stop some raids from the back. Has started to expand over to the east. Getting some more pit mines down. Once these 2 golds are in use, though, he will have to advance down to the middle into the crater. Stable and archery range coming up for Ayyubids. Doesn't look like he's aiming for any sort of fast castle. Might start pumping out some units, like we mentioned before, to come and disrupt the pit mines. He does have the Desert Raiders out. Second one is on the field as well. Some Donzos, which is the spearman unit for the Malians, coming out as well, just to counter the Desert Raiders, which are going to start sieging down the houses. Will be more of an annoyance than anything else at the moment. Would have an extra bit of damage if he'd have kept his scout alive, but he did not. In response to the archery range and stables from our Ayyubids player, we've got a stable and a barracks from the Malians. We'll see what he looks to produce. We've got horsemen coming out from Ayyubids along with the Desert Raiders. So strong cavalry force, which is going to be very heavily countered by the Donzos of the Malians. So would look to get some archers out, I would say, from the Ayyubid player, which he has queued a couple up. So he is, in fact, doing this. Pulled ahead 3 or 4-ish villagers so far with the second TC from the Ayyubid player. Using arrows to attack the house. Has switched over to the melee form now. That will do a lot more damage. Does lose a Desert Raider to the Donzo's throw ability, which periodically charges up. I'm not sure what the cooldown is. Maybe like 8 seconds, 10 seconds? Does it say? It doesn't say. Maybe when he throws this we can see. 15 seconds, I think it is. And Ayyubids not paying attention there. Just walks his horseman straight into the Donzo line. Definitely going to have to start mixing in some archers if he wants to progress over here and do any extra damage to the Malian player. Let's take a look at his base. Looking nice and neat. Blacksmith coming in. Neither player looking to go to Castle Age still. A few cows coming in. So that could be the Malian's plan. It will be the cow boom. But not for a little while, because he will have to fend off the aggression coming in from Ayyubids. Doesn't want to run his horsemen in straight away, but does have the archers now, which will get countered by the sofas, excuse me, from the Malians, but only a couple of sofas on the field. Archers do manage to take out a spearman, little Donzo there. Sofas charge on to the archers. A little bit of an engagement now. Almost losing one sofa, but important to hold on to that. Plenty of Donzos. Army values about even. But Urk will have the reinforcement bonus of the quicker units to reinforce. They are just stationary at the back though. I'd say a pretty good engagement from the Ayyubids, taking out a couple of units. I think He did end up taking out that very low health sofa. Now this is important to slow these pit mines down, just to slow down the advancement of the Malian into Castle Age. He is getting 560 gold per minute compared to the measly 130 that the Ayyubid player is. He does have 7 on the gold, which is obviously more than the Ayyubid anyway, but yes. Switched over to plenty on wood, so could be looking to put some siege down. He's added a lot more production. We've got 2 barracks, 2 archery ranges, 2 stables, so nice diverse force coming in. The blacksmith is down with +1 ranged armor coming in. We've already got +1 ranged armor from the Malian player. Is successfully sieging down these houses surrounding the pit mine, which will reduce this passive income for everyone that he loses. Currently at 78 per min, and I do believe that will drop down as the houses get killed. Yep, they go down to 70. Big engagement coming through now. Does look like the Ayyubids have the numbers here though. Some javelin throws, which will do very well against the archers if he can successfully focus fire those. Horsemen running into the Donzos. Javelins taking out the archers. But quite a few remain. Still got 10 on the field. There aren't 10 here, but they must be running from the back line. It's looking like a successful fight from the Ayyubids player. But Urk will have reinforcement advantage. So units already replenishing, whereas Ayyubids have quite a marathon to run from their base. Some walls coming up from the Ayyubid player, I guess just to secure himself. Make sure there's no sofas that run past. Speaking of sofas, we do have some. They are going around the correct way though. Not going to run into any walls. We'll intercept this outpost going up. It's a little too slow. He's going to need a lot more villagers on that if he wants to stop these sofas from interfering. Still streaming units through over on the east side of the map. 29 to 25 on the military count, but the economy count is 13 higher. So plenty more villagers for the Ayyubid player. Kind of counterbalanced with the amount of passive gold the Malians get, plus passive gold from the cattle ranch as well. So I imagine numbers wise, it's probably still quite even, despite the villager lead from the Ayyubids. 1300 to 1200, 400 to 400-ish, and then the Malians has nearly 800 per minute income of gold, and the Ayyubids currently has 0. So I'd say definitely a big economic lead still from the Malians, with the military being about even, but the Malians really having the stronger counter units. The mass, quite a mass actually, 18 javelin throwers are going to just deal with these archers completely. Not many archers on the field, 11, so they're going to be nullified very quickly, which will then mean it's basically spearman versus spearman with a few horsemen thrown in. And I would say the Malians win that fight, but we'll have to see. No towers or anything going up. Doesn't have too much wood spare, but it could be good to see some towers just for a bit more vision. Maybe a wall over here, just in case he does lose the fight. We've got battering rams coming in. They are weaker now. 340 health. That actually sounds like quite a lot. They do cost 200, right? 200 resources? Yeah, 200 wood. So these are the new update weaker. They take a lot more melee damage. Blocking off the Donzos from the battering ram. Battering ram going straight for the pit mine. Try to hamper that incoming passive gold, but the Malian did manage to get enough gold and food to tech up to Castle Age. If he does get that tech in and doesn't take too much damage here, I think that could be the game for the Malian player. He'll have considerably stronger units once he gets the age ups, and I mean, looks like he has the more considerably stronger units anyway. Absolutely annihilating the Ayyubids force. 20 to 40 now on the military count, so a very successful defense from the Malians. Basically just having the 2 perfect counter units to anything the Ayyubid player produces. It's strange because we would see really the Ayyubids' classic strategy is a castle rush, and you get to their strong units, the Ghulams and the Camel Lancers, get those armored gold cost units out, but did decide to try a bit of a feudal play, and potentially he has backfired. He's got a nice area secured off here. Could grab this relic, grab this sacred site once he gets to Castle Age, and he will be teching up very soon. He's almost there, depending on the tech up. Will he still use the Culture Wing advancement? We'll see. It is quicker, which would help, because he is now behind on tech. We've got the imported armor, so that's extra armor for the horsemen coming in from the Malians. Does he have... He does have his upgraded Donzos now. They're the veteran Donzos. So yeah, very, very strong force here. Has he got veteran archers? Veteran javelin throwers? He does. This is a huge amount of javelin throws. This is going to be very tough to deal with. We're going to need to see manganiques, which are the Ayyubid mangonels, or I don't know, a large amount of Ghulams or Camel Lancers, but you'll need a lot because this many 29 javelins, they will one shot pretty much anything, I think, by at this point. It's still in favor of the Ayyubids from the villager standpoint, but military-wise, Urk is miles ahead. Has he teched up? He is teching up, and he's going for growth wings, so he'll get 8 extra villagers, and the berry bushes will gain an extra 100 food, which, I don't know, he'll get an extra 100 food on these ones over here. But this is a weird... obviously the villagers are very valuable, but I don't think he needs villagers at the moment. Maybe even just extra wood, and to kickstart those manganiques could have been good here, because this is going to be a terrible timing for the Ayyubid player. He's going to get attacked as he's teching up. He's going to be quite behind in tech. All of these upgrades, you know, they're 40 seconds. What's he got mass of? Yeah, spearmen, which are going to do terribly into this. There's just too many. So yeah, potentially the industry wing could have been good here. 1,000 free wood. Could have instantly made a couple of manganiques as soon as he hits Castle Age, which he still isn't in, to be fair. So maybe wouldn't have saved him that much. Age up does come through now. Javelin throwers killing off the horsemen that are trying to raid behind enemy lines, picking off the reinforcement route from the Malians, which is a good thing, but they're just basic horsemen. No upgrades. The manganiques coming in now. Just one. He will actually have the wood for another, but possibly not the gold. He does have the gold. It's only 200 gold, so I would like to see a second manganique building now. Would be good, because there are no springles on the field for Malians. He needs to get this manganique working. Start firing into the cluster of units. Big hits coming through. This looks like it might be a good fight for the Ayyubids if he can get some good manganique hits in. We'll see. There's another one coming in. The split of the javelin throwers. And shot goes wide. He's got some archers protecting the manganique. Would definitely prefer to have the spearmen protecting this from the sofas that are running in. Manjanique goes down. I do think that's probably the only real defense that Overdose had here. I think 2 Manjaniques would have been great, and I think he did have the resources for it. And he did a pretty good job clearing it up. It's just these javelins, these stubborn javelin throwers at the back line, which wouldn't have been able to do much to the Manjanique if he did have a couple. But he didn't, and it does look like he's going to lose this game 4 military to 74 military. I'd say that's pretty much in the Malians' favor here. And I think the Malians just out-zerging the Ayyubid player here, just able to produce more units and the very strong counter units in the Donzos and the Javelins against the archers and the few horsemen and spearmen of the Ayyubid player. He's now losing a lot of workers. He's lost 29 and calls GG there. So well played to Urk, our Malian player. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next casted game. Bye-bye.